From a premiere that caught the attention of 3.7 million viewers to presenting a unique mixture of Stallone's star power and nostalgia, here's why Tulsa King is widely underrated. First things first, Sly Stallone still got it.
Hey, put down the pork rinds and get Bodie.
What?
You heard me, Jumbo. Get Bodie.
And that's not just me fangirling. I've got receipts. Did you know that the premiere of Tulsa King drew in so many people that it became the highest rated premiere for a new series in 2022? This means that it dethroned the House of the Dragon, the show that previously held the spot. As per the viewing numbers, Tulsa King had 3.7 million viewers.
Big day today. How you feeling?
Through a combination of the Paramount Plus streams and a Paramount Network special premiere. So the series really came out swinging. And it makes it all the more weirder that it hasn't since been in pop culture as much as House of the Dragon, which took on the dimensions of a cultural phenomenon. Now here's the thing. How could a critically acclaimed show be left behind by Stallone playing a mafia capo out in Oklahoma?
I'm gonna ask you again. Why now?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know anything.
Also, how come no one's talking about Tulsa King with the same enthusiasm? The answer might point to an uncomfortable truth. Maybe the entertainment press has got something to do with how underrated Sly's new TV show is. With shows and films so easily available across so many platforms, it's kind of hard to understand what's popular and what's only alright. What's mostly known about the content usually comes from the major markets, and not everything's equally addressed over there. Now, shows like House of the Dragon have extensive reviews and analysis often published, but the conversation around other popular series like Tulsa King and Yellowstone often receives limited publication. According to slashfilm.com, many of their Yellowstone pieces remain limited to cast details and release date information, and their Tulsa King posts were mostly reduced to featurettes and jokes. So why aren't the people responding to the popularity of Tulsa King? Well, not everyone agrees that it deserves admiration. Now, nostalgia for Stallone has never dried up since he came onto the movie scene, and even though he hasn't always been able to retain the hype, still, there's no doubt that he remains as relevant as ever. He's now a part of the Sheridanverse, but it seems that fans and critics aren't seeing eye to eye on this one. As of April 4th, it had a 79% critical score on the site Rotten Tomatoes, while it boasted a solid 91% rating by the audience. According to the critics, the mafia elements and the show's setting don't really help.
Clubs, discos,
A disco?
whatever you call them nowadays,
I just don't want to get in trouble.
there's more than one kind of trouble, Bo.
They kind of seem to be at odds, which makes it difficult to think of Tulsa King as a proper mob show. That said though, even the critics aren't immune to the charm of the Italian stallion. Joshua Alston from Variety said that the legendary actor's a particular kind of performer, and Tulsa King seemed to have been written with him in mind, which is why the performance comes across so well.
Mr. D,
Yeah,
I ain't got a lot of friends, so this means a lot to me that you've included me in this beatdown. Okay, hey.
okay, hey,
I'm ready to roll. Let's get it cracking.
got everything?
It's already in the car.
All right, let's do it.
And now, let's look at another reason that Tulsa King seems to be flying under the radar. Mafia tales are no longer all the rage.
Okay, so we got off to a really bad start here, but I think we can turn this around.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, take it easy, guys, come on!
Hey, Jimmy!
Easy now.
In the show, a mafia member who's been paroled tries to spice up the dull underworld of Tulsa. It's a bid to remain a useful member of his crime family. Uniquely, Sly's not all about action. Instead, a rich story, along with the characters, is prioritized. In terms of the general feel, the slow burn and the tone are sure to remind many of The Sopranos.
You getting it?
You would think for $2,000 a week, you'd get out and open the door.
Seriously? You want me to do that?
No, but it would have been nice if you offered.
According to CBR.com, one of the reasons why the show remains underrated is that it attempts to breathe new life into an era that many aren't that excited about. Plus, as per Decider.com, Tulsa King should totally be streamed. Around the second episode, it becomes super exciting. And even though it's got a sense of humor and a fish out of water vibe, it isn't exactly the most nuanced thing out there. So even for people still into the whole mafia theme, Tulsa King is far too solid to be considered an innovative addition to the genre. In the opinion of the reviewer John Birmingham, many have tried to compare the show to the likes of Breaking Bad. But the thing is that this is a completely different show with a totally unique character.
I'm Mitch, by the way.
Dwight.
Paisan named Dwight, huh?
Dwight David Manfredi. My parents are proud immigrants that named me after the greatest general of the 20th century.
The morality in it is simple, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. So maybe the show remains underrated because hardcore crime watchers don't want to give it a chance, sadly. Also, another reason why people aren't connecting with it may be the show relies too much on Stallone. Yeah, I know that's a point in its favor, but hear me out. There are people out there who aren't huge fans of his. Apart from his character, the cast is still pretty amazing, but you can't deny that Sly remains a major presence that ties the show together. The only other mobster that has a definitive role is Vincent Piazza. Those in New York remain far-off entities. Max Casella is another significant name in the show, and he's good, but Stallone's the main attraction. Also, there's Martin Starr. He's an expert when it comes to comedy, and he demonstrates his usual deadpan brilliance in Tulsa King too. But since it isn't a comedy show, he seems well casted, but kinda out of place. So ultimately, there's an opinion that there isn't much to get attached to in the show if you aren't vibing with Dwight Manfredi. But if you're into Sly's performance and a good crime drama, Tulsa King is a treat. Despite the show being underrated, it's got some pretty committed fans. For all the critical nets thrown at it, the show remains popular with its viewers. In fact, it's already been renewed for a second season. It's got a great audience. These are mostly people familiar with Sheridan's work. Like his other projects, this show isn't out to convert people over to its side. It isn't in the business of convincing people of its brilliance. It's modeled on a pretty solid and faithful premise. With Sheridan, you just know that the show's gonna maintain its quality as well. Also, Tulsa King has Terrence Winter as a writer and executive producer too, who you might remember Winter from Boardwalk Empire and The Sopranos. So both these talented individuals teaming up and playing to their strengths production-wise is pretty cool to see. Add in Sly's magnetic aura to the mix, then this show's got way too much going for it. And because of the vision that went into it, the show's got a remarkable main character. Dwight Manfredi's a made guy who's done 25 years. And through it all, he's kept his pie hole shut for the boss. And now he might be out to stir things up in Tulsa. But at heart, he remains an honorable man who's surrounded by people who want to take advantage of him. There's no doubt that he's flawed, but he's also lost, and that makes him something of a rarity. This is also something that's really drawing in the audience. Also, there's a certain charm in seeing Stallone inhabit the ruthless world of the 21st century. His character is also a little displaced. After having been in prison so long, he feels a bit out of rhythm with time too. Having been shunned from society due to the circumstances, how can he find his place in it? Dwight's being exiled by his mentor, and his daughter doesn't even want to speak to him. He must try to build a space for himself in a world whose values are very different from his own. The show shines because of its mafia tropes, and its writing is entertaining and totally hilarious at times. And that was all from my side about why Tulsa King is wildly underrated.